Hi everybody, this is James.
Tarah.
Don.
Nobody.
And Rose.
Oh wow, just blocked me completely out of the
I
shot.
died, but
Yeah. See,
Hey!
Rose knows.
I take it. So, it's Donald. This is not his premiere with Brain Candy. You just haven't seen him on other videos. He's been on other videos. We all know that's Kris. Tarah, baby. Hi. Oh, baby. Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about a movie that we just saw recently. Their second time watching it. Our first time watching it. Jeff was with us, and he'll be on another one. He just couldn't stay for the review. He was only able to watch the movie. It's like 10 o'clock at night. He's got to work in the morning. I get it. Wonder Woman. Spoilers. Alright. There's your spoiler warning, like always. And I'm actually going to have these two start.
Oh, Don.
Yeah, I guess that's me.
I win.
Jeez. So as far as movies go, I mean, I'm a big fan of the action movies. And then you get somebody dressed, that like the action shots. It really makes a movie for me. Good dialogue, good action. Yeah, see, Rose knows. She's serenading us. So I liked it. I'm glad DC did that before the other ones because it really kicked it off.
So I'm not a fan of DC movies. They just keep rolling out direct. But this one was actually not bad. There's a lot of obvious flaws with this movie, but there's also a lot of really good points with this movie. I like the acting. I really enjoyed some of the visuals, some of the visual effects. But I think the thing I liked most about the movie was the main character, Steve. He was awesome. And I'm not saying that the bar is really high, but for a DC movie, it's actually really good.
I go ahead.
I was going to say I too like Steve. But I also like Diana. And then, spoiler! Professor Lupin! My God!
Okay, I feel like we need to, like, pros and cons. Pros. The cast was stellar. Cons. What the hell with Ares?
Yes.
I don't know. I couldn't visualize Professor Lupin as... I don't know his actual name, so I'm just going to keep calling him Professor Lupin.
Yeah.
They'll get it.
I think he should just stick to Harry Potter.
Yes.
I just could not see him as Ares. A friend of mine who watched it before I did actually kind of pointed that out too, and I kind of thought about it, and I was like, because I saw it recently, and I thought about it, I was like, that actually, yeah, I don't know why they went with that, other than he's a very unassuming guy, so when you're trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, you're masquerading as a mortal. You want the mortal masquerade to not seem like it could be Ares, much like just like Ludendorff really seemed like he was, but ultimately wasn't.
I did like that bait and switch. I thought it was really well done. I didn't feel like it was something that... The build-up for it was unique because you didn't see it coming, and it obviously was planned that way. because that's how they wrote the movie, whispering into people's ears. I like that whole sequence. I thought it was interesting that this strayed a little bit from the comics, and I'm not a huge DC historian, but we were talking about this, you and I, after seeing the movie, that Ares was imprisoned on the island Themyscira, and he's kind of just free roaming in this movie, making trouble for essentially the world and starting a war, which was interesting. That's not how the mythos went. He didn't kill the gods in the comics. Kris, you mentioned that as well. I thought it was weird. I want you to say exactly what you said at the end of the movie when we were discussing this.
Which part?
Ares and the fact that he died.
Oh, right. Actually, I was going to bring that up. So, one of my big, giant, throbbing issues with this movie is she kills Ares. So what now? They set Ares up to be this individual who is responsible for all wars ever, and when he's defeated, there will be no more wars. Okay. So what is the... Are they just not going to do any more Wonder Woman movies? Are they not going to do... How are they going to justify the Justice League when there is no more adversarial... I mean, they contradict themselves in the movie by saying that killing Ares will end all wars. Mankind will go back to what they were when they were created. Wisdom and tolerance and whatnot. And then they keep trying to push the possibility that, well, maybe humans just are the way they are. Maybe that's just them. And it's like, you need to stick with one side or the other. I hated the fact that they tried to push a contradiction like that because it made things really confusing. I mean, Wonder Woman's not complicated. Most comic books aren't complicated. I mean, you don't really... And Marvel does this too. They're really bad at continuity. But this, I felt, was a huge misstep and kind of shot themselves in the foot. With killing off Ares, because now it seems like they have nowhere to go. Except for maybe Aquaman, because Aquaman's bad guys have literally nothing to do with humanity for the most part. I mean, Black Manta, his brother, I can never remember his name. I'm actually a new fan of Aquaman, but like, other than Aquaman and maybe Superman, and maybe some team-ups from Wonder Woman and Batman with Superman, I don't see, other than like extraplanetary bad guys, I don't see where there's a future for DC Comics at this point, because... And
I think what they're going to do, because Marvel is building out Thanos, because that's going to be like their coup de grace, that's how they're going to end the series. I have a feeling that's going to be their crescendo. I think that they're going to build up Darkseid. They're going to build up the planet Apocalypse, and they're going to just... I mean, that's kind of... And mind you, I haven't seen Batman vs. Superman. I haven't seen Suicide Squad. I am not a huge DC fan, and I know there's a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, he's not a DC fan. Oh, well, let me explain. I like DC Comics. I have the entire Nightfall series in my room. I love Batman. I love Superman to death. I just, the new movies, I like Tim Burton's 1989 Batman.
Wait. Movie review inside a movie review.
I'm trying not to do that.
That's fine.
But when you have to compare what Wonder Woman is to the genre, then you have to take it to compare it to Captain America: The First Avenger, which covered World War II. Which is interesting that this one covered World War I, that one covered World War II. It's one of those things. If you compare it to the genre, that's the movie you have to compare it to. Which Captain America: The First Avenger, all of the Captain America movies, in my opinion, are the best Marvel movies. This definitely was the best DC movie I've seen in a long time. I'm not going to say it was the best DC movie. And I'm also going to tell you that I don't like Christopher Nolan's Batman. Fight me. That's what it is. Fight me.
There's
George Clooney is better. Sorry.
So, if you're looking to send hate mail, please don't. No, actually, I think... Okay, so for Christopher Nolan's Batman, I hated Christian Bale. That was partially his fault, partially Christopher Nolan's part, because it was bad direction, you know. Where are the drugs going? Wow, I just tuned out, because now I don't care. That sounded terrible.
¿Dónde
están las drogas? Oh, yeah. Go College Humor. But the only characters that I really enjoyed in Christopher Nolan's trilogy was Alfred, because Michael Caine's awesome. Oh, man. The Joker, which surprised the hell out of me, because I do not like Heath Ledger, and that was gnarly. Two-Face / Harvey Dent, because Aaron Eckhart's amazing. And Ra's al Ghul, because Liam Neeson.
Neeson season.
But I honestly... What worries me is that... So, I don't know what they're going to do with the DC universe. I just read recently that they're doing a Superman Dr. Manhattan comic called the Doomsday Clock, and I don't know how that's going to work unless they're going to be like it's going to be a buddy cop drama or some nonsense, because Superman is absolutely no match for Dr. Manhattan. And the fact that they're going to be bringing in the Watchmen into the main continuity,
yeah,
it's gonna get real dicey, because you're gonna have Asmodeus and Batman now. Who's the smartest guy in the world? Well, Asmodeus is actually the smartest guy in the world, but Batman's touted as the smartest guy. How are you gonna rewrite all that? And
man, we went into a DC
did.
rant real quick.
But it actually is relevant, because it all ties in with the Justice League and all that other stuff, and how they're going to, if they're going to make more DC movies, how are they going to do it? I don't know that they can do another Suicide Squad movie. That was just a bomb. I don't want to see another Batman versus Superman. That was an abysmal failure. I would like to see more Wonder Woman if they could actually justify it without, having to pull a X-Men Days of Future Past just to make everything fall together and make sense.
And it's going to come down to, they're going to build up the heroes. This is the way that I'm going to see Justice League going, is they're going to build up all the heroes. They're going to give you a roster. They're going to give you something that may be presumably too much for them to handle, but the reality of the situation is it's not, and then they're going to build up Darkseid. And I think they're going to build up Darkseid way too soon. I would have loved to see an Aquaman movie. There's so much you can do with an Aquaman movie.
They're doing an Aquaman movie.
Oh, thank God.
Jason Momoa is playing Aquaman. And at first I was like, no, come on, really? Jason Momoa? Give me a break. But that's because I saw Conan the Barbarian. It was awful.
Don't measure him up to that.
Look, I don't have a choice. It's the only thing I've seen him in.
So
So I'm like, no, that's terrible. Don't do that. But I think that if they do it right, I think they have a shot at making a good effort at it. The biggest problem DC is facing with their movies is that they keep losing directors and writers, and they just keep walking off because they're tired of them. They're sick of the nonsense that goes on with it.
And that comes down to the production companies. coming into the creative process where they don't belong. Give these people money. Let them have freedom to do what they need to do, because you get good things, good results, like Wonder Woman. The only real cons I had about that movie were the Ares was lost on me. I thought him and his mortal coil, Professor Lupin, was perfect. Actually, and Jeff said Clive Owen would have made a better Ares.
I said Clive Owen.
You said Clive Owen.
He said Pierce Brosnan or I can't think of the other one, but yeah, Pierce Brosnan was one of them. So aside from they killed off Ares, so now they have nowhere to go. My biggest issue was the CGI choices were not great, especially when like she loses her shit after the plane blows up in the sky and she goes all Super Saiyan, and then just goes on a punching spree really really fast. If you look at her legs, and my friend pointed this out to me. We were having dinner one night, and he pointed it out to me. And I wasn't paying attention because I was just like, "Oh, movie's great." And then when we watched it again, I was like, "All right, let's watch for the Gumby animation. Here we go." And you could see her torso moving a lot, but her legs are just not. Like, her torso's moving way more than her legs are, and yet she's moving at like ridiculous speeds. And I'm like, that's wrong. Somebody should have caught that.
I think the fight choreography, there were some things where Blade 2.
That's exactly what my friend mentioned.
Blade 2 was you can tell when Wesley Snipes wasn't there, and it was just
it was the fight
CG puppet.
Well, no, it was the fight scene where they're inside his lair. The vampire ninjas or whatever the hell.
Yeah, that was dumb.
And no, they knew that their CGI was bad, so they basically were like, well, the best we could do to make this cleaner is just backlight the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Which is why there's a bunch of lights in it.
And the other thing to add to that, the reason why I'm bringing up that Blade 2 terrible stilted animation is there were a couple of times when they were in that no man's land, that French village, where I was like, she's not performing that jump spin back kick, and she grew like 5 inches and she got really lean all of a sudden, and I'm watching the animation and I'm like, oh no, there's the edit marks. I see them clearer than anything I should see, and they're actually on location, which made it harder, or at least it appeared that they were on location. So it was like, whoa. And a lot of the choreography was just real weird. Really weird. And I thought some of the action scenes were really good, but there were times where I just couldn't suspend my disbelief too long into certain fights, where I was just like, oh, no. The bar fight was amazing, where she moved ridiculously fast, caught the guy, threw him off to the side, holding his gun, saying, okay, you're done. That was really cool, and it was really creative editing, and I thought that was really nice because there was no need for CG. It was creative editing, which is why X-Men 2, X-Men United, looked amazing when Nightcrawler would bamf around, because they did that all old school. He was there, and then he wasn't there. It was creative editing. Stop over CGIing things.
Yeah.
Stop it.
I keep saying stuff like that, but
it was a wonderful story, and I was really involved with her character. Diana was there because she wanted to be there. It wasn't because of like some really like stupid reason. She was there to save people because she could. And I felt that scene. That scene resonated with me. That was so powerful. She's sitting there being held back by a machine gun, this demigod, and it was just like, it was really cool. And then you get this really stilted, weird puppet animation in between some of the takes, and you're just kind of like, why?
One of the things that I liked most about the movie was her character's anachronistic ignorance.
That's
It was
yes.
incredibly well played. Just the scene where she's walking out in her new outfit with her sword and shield in public. Like, this is okay. And they're like, no, you can't have that out. I was wondering where the hell they came from, honestly, because I had no idea where she was hiding that nonsense. But
in her magic pocket.
That's what I was thinking. But honestly, it's a foldable shield. But that's... She had a Mary Poppins purse, too, I think, maybe. But that's also... that's one of the things I really enjoyed about it was her anachronistic ignorance. The fact that, she has no idea what any of this stuff is or how any of it works. She didn't even understand the concept of time because it had never occurred to anyone on Themyscira. Oh, time, cool. That's a human concept and it means this. It never occurred to her. And I loved the scene where she's like, so you let this little thing boss you around and tell you what to do? Like, I thought that was amazing. I really did. So I liked her character. I mean, she wasn't my favorite character. She's probably my second, maybe third favorite character. But one of the other big problems that I had, and is another thing that my friend pointed out that I really didn't pay attention to until this last time around. The little band of brothers that she's dragging around with her, there's almost like no real backstory to them, and they're supposed to be like fleshed out characters, and they're not.
Nowhere near.
And I felt like, okay, cool. Well, you have these like obviously interesting characters, the Scotsman sniper with PTSD who can sing, the Arab guy
who wants to be an actor,
the Native American guy who's like
who hates the white man.
Yeah.
I'm putting that out there because it's literally what he says. I have no land where else to go because it was taken from me. By who? By his people. That's the only reason why I put that out there. No racism here. That's what he says.
Yeah, no, and like the way he's dressed very authentically, it's great. But at the same time, like they give no real origin other than like this little tiny snippet about each one of them. And I felt like it was too shallow of a pool for them.
Even Steve wasn't completely fleshed out either.
Steve wasn't fleshed out at all.
And what it was is what made the characters who they are were their actions and the fact that their intentions shone through in everything they did. It was really awesome, but they weren't real characters. They were standbys, in my opinion, and I know that's like really terrible for me to say, but I like the Arab dude because he was entertaining to watch. His acting was on point. He was in that car trying to create a diversion in order to get him and Steve into the building. That was his character. That was it.
Not only that, but he was one of the only ones that was, not one of the only ones, but I think one of the first outside of Steve to really, after hearing Steve's story about how he ended up there with her, to be like, no, I believe that. Like, that makes sense after watching her fight in the village. Yeah, that makes total sense. Nothing else does.
And I like the fact that they actually had a real world problem that Diana experienced when the bomb blew up in front of them, and she had that whole hearing loss for a little bit. And
it humanized her character.
Yeah. And she couldn't hear Steve, so...
saying his goodbyes.
Mm-hmm.
That was okay. That was a punch in the feels.
It really was. They did a good job.
Oh.
I greatly enjoyed that.
Because again, we knew them for that moment, who they are then, that moment. Like, you know us through these videos, and that's all you know us through. It's the same thing. And it was just one of those, like, ow, he's gonna die. And just her thinking back to, what did he say? What did he say? What did he say? It's like, well, we're going to take your feels right here. Here's your feels, and we're just going to punch it.
Yeah.
And we're just going to punch it. And you're going to feel, because look, there's your feels, and you could feel the feels getting punched. But why? Because he's going to make a sacrifice, and you like his character. We've made sure that his charming demeanor and his piercing blue eyes were just the surface of this truly heroic individual who was actually selfless.
It took that to happen for Diana to show her true colors.
To
Well,
realize what she was actually fighting for.
Yeah.
I also think that. So this literally just hit me just now. So we were talking about the characters aren't flushed out. The only one that is actually flushed out is Diana. And I think ultimately the reason why she's the only one that you really see like her origin from beginning to end is because maybe they didn't want to outshine her character with these other characters. Because Steve, already my favorite character, and I don't know a damn thing about him other than he's with the British intelligence. So if you gave him a backstory or some backstory to go along with that, that might actually take away from Wonder Woman. So I understand a little bit now what they were going for by not giving them a bunch of some backstory. I would have liked a little bit just to kind of get an idea of, the who, what, when, where, and why of each of them. But Steve was my favorite because of the fact that, yeah, he was a selfless guy. He really believed in ending the war, and he really felt all the losses and whatnot. But you actually see fear on him as well. Mm-hmm. He's not that stereotypical, Captain America, da, 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 I'm the hero. That's why I really hate Captain America and Cyclops and all those characters where that's why I also don't like Superman. Because it's the golden age of comics thing. I don't like that. But Steve, especially when he's in the plane, he's ascending, and he's got his piece out, and he's pointing it at the explosives, and you just see him terrified. But he's calming himself down because he knows what he has to do, and it's got to happen now. Mm-hmm. I really felt that character right then and there because it went from being this character who is, well, I got to do the right thing. I always got to do the right thing. I can ignore an unlawful order. I can't ignore this. So it made him, in my opinion, more of an actual person to be afraid of the things that he has to do, but still have the courage, because that's what courage is. It's not the absence of fear, it's the acting in spite of it. That gives him the courage to just do what has to be done.
Well said.
Very well said.
Mm-hmm.
Well, final thoughts on the movie. It was good. I enjoyed it. I want to see more like this from DC. I'm afraid that we won't.
No.
I greatly enjoyed the movie, despite the flaws that it had. It was entertaining to watch. And I'm hoping Aquaman is as good, if not better.
I actually enjoyed the fact that they took her path, showed it from beginning to end, and the struggles along the way,
Mm-hmm.
the relationships that we all try to build, and trying to come to terms with our surroundings, and finding a solution. It's not always a clean one, but we all got to move on.
Yep.
Oh, go ahead.
I totally agree with all that, and I'm hoping the next one will be just as good or not better, like you said.
I just remembered something else that kind of struck me about Diana's character. I really something that adds to humanizing the character.
Mm-hmm.
her frustration about failing. When she kills Ludendorff and is like, this should have ended. No, this is wrong. This should have ended. And she's losing it because she's not used to failing. She's used to succeeding. She's used to being Wonder Woman. On top of, you know, her feeling that loss of Steve, her reaction to it, without having been around him long enough to really, I mean, she just connects with him, realizes what it is she's fighting for, and then it's gone. And realizes he's not the only human. I have to now continue what he was doing. But that's something that, I mean, it just struck me.
No, it's it humanizes. It's something when you get these godlike individuals that you can't relate to because you're not supposed to relate to, and they become this sort of they have this moral dilemma that we can't possibly understand. Well, it's like we failed. Failure is something we all vibe with. We can understand that. That's relatable. And she never fails. Except, I will say this, through the relationship building that Dawn brought up, and what you were saying about humanizing her character, is we did see failure throughout most of her upbringing. And it was, I think that frustration came out of, but wasn't this my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't I supposed to do this? And it was that glimpse of humanity that made her that much more enjoyable. I felt like she was an ever-evolving character, and she was not the same going in, coming out, from scene to scene. She had the most change in the movie. Steve had a really big arc as well. Her arcs, she had small arcs throughout the whole movie, where she was, you know, the little girl, the princess, the one striving for more, the one striving for better, the one striving for peace, now the one striving for love. Steve had that arc of, well, I need to do what's right. I need to serve my country. I need to serve the world. I need to get these bombs blowed up, because that's what I'm going to do, is blowed up these dang bombs.
That was actually my favorite line, is I can save today, you can save the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
a great line.
That was very, very razor sharp.
feels.
Punched.
Yes.
It was feels.
With that,
I'm James.
I'm Don.
Kris.
Sarah, and Sleepy Rose.
And we are Brain Candy Productions, and we will see you in the next exciting episode of whatever Brain Candy has going on next.